Joining us now to talk more about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his legacy are Reverends Chuck Norris and Gerald Brown.
And thank you both for being with us. Reverend Norris, let me begin with you. Do you think Dr. King in those early days had any idea how much impact his message would have in the eventual years to come?
I don't think he would have been able to see it the way we do, but I'm sure he knew it had an impact because he was a preacher of the gospel.
Yeah.
And so he believed that it was the gospel that could change people's hearts, that could make people renewed and re-strengthened and invigorated. So I'm sure he had all the confidence in the world that God's word was immovable and that people could be moved and uplifted. That's why we use terms like the liberating power of the gospel.
And Reverend Brown, I know you were part of the breakfast that happened today, the annual traditional breakfast. What was the message that you gave to the people who came out to celebrate his life and legacy?
Well, this morning our focus was on forging ahead for peace and unity, bringing communities together that had not normally been together. This morning we were blessed to have both rabbi, imams, and others of faith there to just bless us and to come together with Dr. King's legacy.
Yeah, Dr. King opened a lot of doors for African Americans and minorities. If he were still alive, what do you think he'd be saying today?
I think he would be appalled at what we see with poor people in this country. There is a certain measure of exploitation that continues to go on that we kind of turned a blind eye to. We want things to benefit ourselves financially or economically, but don't often understand the horrible impact it might have on someone in another country or in another neighborhood.
What do you, I mean, so much has changed. 8 years ago, America elected the first African-American president in this country. And you'd think that that would be a sign that racial tension was maybe easing in America. And yet today, with all of the police and the African-American community at odds in New York City and Missouri, it really seems that it's still just as strong as ever, or we're having a new problem. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would. I mean, 350 years of slavery, segregation, Jim Crow, all of those types of things. You can't just overnight undo those things. And so when we see what happens with people trying to remove voting rights, those kinds of, all of those are vestiges of that mindset that at times really plague us. But at the end of the day, people are people. And until we start treating one another and are able to deal with our biases, it will be much difficult for us to overcome.
I think, you know, the history of Dr. King's legacy and what his family members and close friends are saying about it today kind of touched home with me when I was reading some of the magazine articles. Newsweek magazine did a piece on him too as well, and they said that just before his death he was building a coalition, one, to end the Vietnam War, and he was calling for major economic reforms, which was kind of a different tone in his message, wasn't it?
It really was, okay, and as Pastor Norris has already said, you know, as we take a look out and we scan over America, we still see there are many people that are without. And so Dr. King was calling for all people to come together, to work together so that we can make sure that people have fair wages. We can make sure that people have health care. We can make sure that the poorest in our country was taken care of like the richest in our country.
Yeah.
What is your feeling about young people and racism today? You know, a lot of white people will say, oh, well, that racism just doesn't exist. Well, it might not exist in their world, but obviously it's different to everybody. Do you think that young people are getting the message?
I believe the young people get the message, but the way they interpret it is much different. They are accustomed to being around people of different ethnicities, and they're a little more welcoming, but more importantly, they're in a society that is not as harsh and brutal because you may be with someone that is not like you. So as opposed to being the melting pot, I pray that we become more of what I call the salad bowl. That we don't have to change who we are in order to be friends or get along with one another.
Well, I wish we had more time to talk about Dr. King's legacy, but thank you both for being with us today.
Well, we hope that people will come and join us as we keep the dream going on January 29th and 30th
Yes,
at
yeah.
Prince Chapel by the Sea. That's princechapelame.org. We have a Pillar of Light celebration where we will be honoring the memory of Dr. King and those that bring light to our community.
Great. We'll get that on the website.
Okay.
Gentlemen, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your
You're
time.
welcome.
Thank you both.
All right. Bye-bye.